warm greeting to one and all. Dear friends, myself Dr. S. Kishore, welcome you all in our tutorial Programming Logic and Technique and Programming with C, and today we are going to discuss some of the more problems using the iterative process. So in the last session we have seen what is the iterative process, then why iterative process is necessary, then we have discussed about the for statement, then we have also seen the forward loop and the backward loop or reverse loop. Now in the today's session, like I said, we are going to simply discuss some more problems using the iterative process. Okay, using the iterative process for loop statement. So let's say if you want to display say first 5 natural numbers. Okay, so first natural number starts with what? The number 1. So it means our loop will start with what? The number 1, that is 1 to 5, step 1, and each time what we want to display? The value of I, nothing else. Okay, let's see one by one. Initially the value of I is 1. So 1 is less than 5, yes, condition is true, so display the value of I, that is what? 1. Then the value of I will become 2 during the increment of step. So 2 is less than 5, yes, so it's to display what? The value of I, that is 2. Then again the control will be transferred to the step values, it will become 3. 3 is less than 5, yes, condition is true. So again display the value of I, that is 3. Then the value of I will become 4. 4 is less than 5, yes, condition is true. So again display the value of I, that is 4. Then the value of I will become 5. 5 is less than 5, no, it is equal. So it means condition is still true. So display the value of I, that is 5. And finally the value of I will become what? 6. 6 is less than 5, no, condition false. So control will be transferred to our next statement. So in this case it is a stop. So our algorithm will get what? Stop. Okay. Now observe that each time you will print it, you will always get what? The output something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now assume that if you want to print say first 10 numbers or first 5 numbers or first 15 numbers or first 20 numbers, it means depending upon the value of user say n. So it means if you want to display first n natural number, then how to do it? Okay. So this is basically what? A static loop where each time you will execute, you will get the same kind of output only. Okay. So now to display the first n natural number. So what is unknown? The value of n. So accept it. Then for I is equal to 1 to n, step 1, and each time what you are going to do? Display the value of I. So now assume the value of n is 4. So initially the value of I is 1. 1 is less than 4, yes, condition is true. So display the value of I, that is 1. Then the value of I will become 2. 2 is less than 4, yes, condition is still true. So display the value of I, that is 2. Then the value of I will become 3. 3 is less than 4, yes, condition is true. So display the value of I, that is 3. Then the value of I will become 4. 4 is less than 4, no, it is equal. It means still condition is true. So display the value of I, that is 4. Then the value of I will become 5. 5 is less than 4, no, condition is false. So control will be transferred to the next statement. So in this case it is a stop. Okay. Now it means this algorithm will print what? The first n natural number, and the value of n is what? In this case 4. So it will display the first 4 number. If it is the 10, then it will display the 10 number. If the value of n is 20, then in that case it will print first 20 natural numbers. Now to find the sum of first n natural number. Okay, earlier what we have done, we have simply displayed the first n natural number. Now in this case we want to find out what? The sum of first n natural number. So again the value unknown value is what? N. Okay, so accept it. Then initially the value of sum is 0. Then for I is equal to 1 to n, what you are going to do? You are going to find out what? The sum. So sum is equal to sum plus I, and finally display the sum and stop. Now illustrate the example. Say the value of n is 5. Initially the value of sum is 0. The value of I is 1. 1 is less than 5. Yes, condition is true. So sum is equal to sum plus I. So 0 plus 1 is equal to what? 1. Then the value of I will become 2. 2 is less than 5. Yes, condition is true. So what is the previous value of sum? 1. 1 plus what is the value of I? That is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Then the value of I will become 3. 3 is less than 5. Condition is true. So sum is equal to sum plus I. What is the previous value of sum? 3. 3 plus what is the current value of I? That is 3. So 3 plus 3, it's a 6. Then the value of I will become 4 during the reinitializing statement. Then 4 is less than 5. Yes, condition is true. So previous value of sum is 6. 6 plus 4, that is 10. Finally, the value of I will become 5. 5 is less than 5. No, it's equal. So condition is still true. So previous sum, that is 10. 10 plus 5, that is 15. Then finally, the value of I become what? 6. So 6 is less than 5. No, condition false. So control will be transferred to the next statement. So in this case, we are displaying what? The value of sum. So that is what? 15. So sum of first 5 natural number is what? It is a 15. So now depending upon the value of n, you will get what? A result. Okay. Now in the next problem, we are going to solve the same problem, almost what we have seen in earlier. Compute the sum of first n number in such a way that it must print the output in the following format. That is, sum of number from 0 to 1 is how much, and sum of number from 0 to 2 is how much, and so on. Okay. So again, now it means each time you will calculate the sum, you need to print what? The sum. Okay. In the previous case, see what we have done, we have printed the sum at the end. After calculating all the results, we are printing the sum. Now in this case, we need to do what? We need to print the sum after calculating the sum. So let's see, initially the unknown value is what? N. Initially value of sum is 0. So for I equal to 1 to n, what you need to do? Find out what? The sum, and then print the sum. Okay. So sum of number from 0 to, initially what is the value of I? 1. So 0 to 1. Sum is equal to sum plus I. So what is the value of sum? That's 0, 0 plus 1. That is 1. So it means output is what now? Sum of number from 0 to 1 is 1. Okay. So now let's illustrate the example. Assume the value of n is 5. Initially value of sum is 0. The value of I also initially 1. So 1 is less than 5. Condition is true. So sum is equal to sum plus I. That is 0 plus 1 is equal to what? 1. And we are also declaring sum of number from 0 to 1 is 1. Okay. Now the value of I will become 2. 2 is less than 5. True. So sum, what is the value of sum? Initial, it's a 1. 1 plus the value of I, that is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So it means the result is what now? Sum of number from 0 to 2 is what? 3. And now it means, see what is happening? Addition of this 1 plus 2 will become a 3. Now the value of I is now 3. 3 is less than 5. Yes, condition is true. So previous sum, that is 3. 3 plus 3 6. So sum of number from 0 to 3 is 6. Then the value of I become 4. 4 is less than 5. Condition is true. So previous sum, that is 6. 6 plus 4, that is 10. So sum of number from 0 to 4 is what? 10. And the value of I is now become 5. 5 is less than 5. No, it's equal. So again condition is true. So previous sum plus 5. So it becomes 15. So sum of first 5 number is what? That is from 0 to 5 is what? 15. Finally, the value of I becomes 6. 6 is less than 5. No, condition false. So control will be transferred to the next statement. So in this case, it is a stop. Okay. It means our algorithm will get stop. Now observe that we are printing a display message inside the loop. Why? What is the reason? Because after each sum, we need to print the sum. That is the basic reason. While in earlier case, that is in previous problem, what we have done, we have printed the display value after the execution of the entire for loop, because we want to print only one output. Okay. Now assume you want to find out the sum of first n terms of what? Harmonic series. So sum is equal to 1 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1 divided by 3 and so on. Okay. So it means this first value is what? It's a constant, while this value is changing. So it is 1 means what? 1 divided by 1 is what? It is nothing but the 1 itself. So 1 divided by 1, then 1 divided by 2 and so on. So value of the denominator is changing while the value of numerator is a constant. Okay. So unknown value is what? N. So accept it. Then initially assume the value of sum is what? 0. Now for j is equal to 1 to n. Okay. So what you are going to do? Sum is equal to sum plus 1.0 divided by j. Why so? Because we know that in C language, whenever you are dividing an integer value by integer, you will always get what? Integer. So in order to get a floating result, what you need to do? You need to convert one of these values, either numerator or denominator, into a floating constant. Okay. Again, remember, from algorithm point of view, it is not necessary. So assume the value of n is what? 5. So assume initially value of sum is 0 and the value of j is what? It's a 1. So 1 is less than 5, condition is true. So sum is equal to sum plus 1.0 divided by j. So that is what? 0 plus 1 divided by 1. So overall result is what? 1. Now the value of j will be increment. It will become 2. 2 is less than 5. Yes, true. So previous sum 1 plus 1 divided by 2. Okay. So that is what? 1.5. It means 1 plus 0.5. So it becomes 1.5. Then the value of j will become 3. It's a true. Yes. So 1.5 plus 1 divided by 3. So overall result is 1.83. Then the value of j will become 4. Condition is still true. So previous sum plus 1 divided by 4. So it's a 2.08. Then the value of j will become 5. Condition is still true. 5 is less than 5. No, it's equal. So condition is true. So previous sum plus 1 divided by 5. So overall result is what now? 2.28. Now the value of j will become what? 6. So 6 is less than 5. No, condition is what? False. So control will be transferred to this part. It means it is going to display the sum. So that is what? 2.28 and stop. Now to find and display the n terms of what? Even natural number and their sum. Okay, not only we need to find out the sum, but we also need to print what? The even numbers. So how many terms you want to print? So value is unknown is what? The number of terms we print. Okay, so assume the first step will be what? Accept the value of n. Assume the initially the value of sum is 0. Now this is the most important step. The final value is equal to what? Number of terms multiplied by 2. Why we have done it? We will see within a moment. Then for I is equal to 2 to fv. Okay, it means assume the value of n is what? 5. So 5 into 2 will become what? 10. So it means what? 2 to 10 step is what? 2. It means it will print only 5 terms only. Okay, so for that purpose. Now in the absence of this, suppose if you are written 2 to n, so in that case it will print only the first 2 terms. Okay, so display the value of I as well as perform the sum. Okay, finally display the result and stop. Now illustrate. So initially assume the value of n is what? 5. So final value will be what? 10. So the value of sum is initially 0. The value of I starting from what? 2. So 2 is less than 10. Yes, condition is true. So sum is equal to sum plus I, that is 0 plus 2 is what? 2. Then the value of I will become 4 because step value is what? 2. So 4 is less than 10. Yes, condition is true. So previous sum, that is 2 plus 4, it becomes 6. Then the value of I will become 6. 6 is less than 10. Yes, condition is true. So previous sum plus current value of I, that is 6. So 6 plus 6, 12. Then the value of I will become 8. So 8 is less than 10. Condition is true. So previous sum plus 8. Okay, that becomes 20. Then the value of I will become 10. 10 is less than 10. No, it is equal. So again, condition is true. So previous sum plus current value of I, that is 10. So 20 plus 10, that is 30. Then now finally the value of I will become what? 12. 12 is less than 10. No, condition is false. So display the sum. That is what? 30. So see how many terms we have printed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that's why what we have done here, final value is equal to what? N multiplied by 2. So again remember, in the absence of this, if you are written here 2 to n, so it will print only the first 2 terms. Okay. If the value of n is 5. Now to print the number, square and the cube of first 10 natural number. Okay. So what is the unknown here? If there is an unknown number, no. Everything has been given. We want to print for 10 natural number. So for I is equal to what? 1 to 10. So square is equal to what? N into m, and cube will be what? Square multiplied by n will give what? A cube. And finally display all the 3 values. That is number, square and cube. Okay. So initially value of n is what? 1. 1 is less than 10. Condition is true. So square will be what? The square of 1 is 1 and the cube of 1 is also what? 1. Then step value will be incremented by 1. So it will become 2. 2 is less than 10. Here condition is true. So square of 2 is what? 4 and the cube of 2 is what? 8. Again the value will be incremented by 1. So value of n will become 3. 3 is less than 10. Condition is true. So square of 3 is what? 9 and the cube of 3 is what? 27. And so on. Finally the value of n become what? 10. 10 is less than 10. No, it's condition. It's 10 is less than 10. No. Is it equal? Yeah. The condition is still true. So square of 10 is what? 100 and the cube of 10 is what? 1000. And finally the value of n become what? 11. So 11 is less than 10. No, condition is what? False. Okay. So control will be transferred to the stop statement. Now to display the multiplication table, say of number n. Okay. So what is unknown? The value of n. So for I is equal to 1 to 10, what you are going to do? You are going to find out what result, that is number multiplied by I, and finally display all the 3 values. So let's see. Assume the value of n is 7. So 1 is less than 10. Yes. So 7 into 1, that is what? 7. So display all the 3 values, 7, 1 and 7. Then the value of I will become what? 2. So n into 2, that is 7 into 2, it will become 14. So display all the 3 values and this will be continue. Now assume the value of I is 10. Okay, so 10 is less than 10. No, it is equal. So again perform the calculation, that is 7 into 10. It will become what? 70. So we are printing all the 3 values. Then the value of I will become 11. So 11 is less than 10. No, condition is false. So control will transfer to the next statement. So in this case it is what? Stop. So our program will get halt. Okay. Now to find what a factorial of an integer number. So again, unknown is what? The number. Okay. So initially assume the value of fact is what? 1. Now how you are going to find out the factorial? What is the factorial of 5? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. It means reverse. We are going to traverse what? In a reverse direction. So initially assume the value of I is what? N. So n to 1 and here step value is what? -1. Okay. So perform the calculation and finally display the result and stop. So let's see. Initially the value of, assume the value of n is 5 and the factorial is what? 1. So the value of I will be what initially? 5 only. So 5 is greater than 1. Yes, condition is true. So fact multiplied by I. What is value of fact? 1. 1 multiplied by 5 it become 5. Then because due to the step value -1, the value of I will become what? 4. Now 4 is greater than 1. Yes, condition is still true. So it means again perform the multiplication. So 5 into 4 that become 20. Then the value of I will become decrease. So it will become 3. 3 is greater than 1. Yes. So 20 into 3 that is 60. Then again the value of I will be decreased, it will become 2. So 2 is greater than 1, yes, condition is true. So 60 multiplied by 2, it becomes 120. Then the value of I will become 1. So 1 is greater than 1, no, it is equal, yes. So 120 into 1, that is again 120. And finally the value of I will become what? 0. So 0 greater than 1, no, condition is false. So control will be transferred to this part and it will print what? The factorial of a number. So factorial of 5 is what? It's a 120. Okay. Now remember, instead of 1, you can also write here what? 2. Because any number multiplied by 1 will be what? A same number. Okay. So it means you can also eliminate one step over here. Now to find the products of two numbers without using the operator multiplication. Okay. We want to find out the multiplications of two numbers but without using the multiplication symbol. So how it can possible? Of course by performing the addition b times in this case. Okay, so what you are going to add? The value of a, how many times? B times. So initially assume the value of sum is 0. So for I equal to 1 to b, what you are going to do? Add the value of a to sum. How many times? B times. Finally declare the result. Now assume the value of a is 3 and the value of b is what? 4. So initially the value of sum is what? 0. The value of I is what? 1. So 1 is less than 4. Yes. So sum plus sum is equal to sum plus a. So what is the value of sum? 0. What is the value of a? 3. So 0 plus 3 is what? 3. Okay. Then the value of I will become 2. 2 is less than 4. Yes. So previous sum plus current value of a. The value of a will remain the same. That is 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Then the value of I will become 3. 3 is less than 4. Yes. So previous sum plus a. So it will become 9. Then the value of I will become 4. 4 is less than 4. Not is equal. So still condition is true. So previous sum that is 9. 9 plus 3. It will become what? 12. And finally the value of I is what now? 5. 5 is less than 4. No, condition is false. So control will be transferred to the next statement to display the sum. So multiplication of 3 into 4 is what? 12. Okay. So it's very simple. Now here, see what is the role of I? It is simply counting, nothing else. Okay, as we know that I is referred as a counter variable. So it is simply counting. To find what a raised to the power b without using a for function that has been supported by C language. Okay, or say assume that if you have any certain operator. So without using the raised to the power operator, you need to find out what? A raised to the power b. So how it can possible? Of course, by multiplying a how many times? B times. So unknown, what are the unknown values? The value of a and b are unknown. So accept it. Then initially assume the result is what? 1. So 1 to b times, what you are going to perform? Multiplication. Okay, finally display the result and stop. So again take the same example. The value of a is suppose 3 and the value of b is what? 4. So initially the value of result is what? 1. So and what is the value of I? 1. So 1 is less than 4? Yes, true. So result multiplied by a. So 1 into 3 is what? 3. Now why we have selected 1? Because any number multiplied by 1 will be what? A same number. That's why we have selected here 1. Now the value of I become 2. 2 is less than 4. Condition is true. So previous result multiplied by 3 is what? 9. Then the value of L become 3. 3 is less than 4 here. So previous 9, that is previous result multiplied by 3, it become 27. Then the value of I become 4. 4 is less than 4. Not is equal. Condition is still true. So previous sum multiplied by previous result multiplied by 3. So it becomes what? 81. Then the value of I become 5. 5 is less than 4. No, condition is false. So display the result. that is what? 81. So 3 raised to the power 4 is what? It is a 81. So one more problem. Generate and print a Fibonacci sequence. Okay. In this sequence, the first two numbers are what? 1 and 1. Okay. And the next number is generated by adding the previous two terms, and this will be continue up to n term. Okay. So now assume the value of n is 10. So what will how you are going to get the Fibonacci sequence? Something like this. So previous two numbers are what? The first two numbers are what? 1, 1. The next number is what? Addition of these two. Then this will become first number and this will become second number. So addition of these two is what? 3. Then this will become previous and this will become what? Your next number. So addition of these two will be what? 5, and it will be continue. So it means unknown is what? The value of n is unknown, and the first two terms are what? 1, 1. So f is equal to s is equal to 1. So this is what your multiple assignment, nothing else. So accept the value of n. Now first display the two results. That is what? The value of f and s. So what is that? 1, 1. So first term is what? 1. Okay, and value is also 1, and second term also contain the value what? 1. Okay. Now, so you are going to print what? A third number. So that's why loop is starting with what? Number 3 to n. Since you are going to print a third number, you are going to generate a third number. So that's why loop is starting from what? A number 3. So now what you are going to do? By additions of these two, it means what? Third number is equal to what? First plus second. Okay. Now display this third number. So see, 1 plus 1. Third, we are going to print what? Third number. So the value of f is 1. The value of s is also 1. So 1 plus 1 is what? 2. So now print the value of this. That is what? 2. Okay. Now what you need to do? You need to make this one as first number and this one as what? Your second number. So it means transfer the value of f into s into f and transfer the value of t into s. Okay. And now again back to the loop. So now we are going to print what? A fourth number. The fourth number is what? 1 plus 2. It becomes what? 3. Okay. Then display the value of t. That is what? 3. Okay. And again transfer the values. The value of second will be copied to the first and the value of third will be copied to the second. Like this way. Then it means we are going to print what? The next number, that is 5. 2 plus 3 is what? 5. Then this process will be continue. So how long? As long as the value of I is less than equal to n. So value of I is what? 9, while the value of n is what? 10. Okay, and finally the value of I will become what? 11. So 11 is less than 10. No, condition is false. So control will be transferred to the next statement. So in that case, it is what? Your stop statement. So this is how you are able to generate what? A Fibonacci sequence. Again, remember in Fibonacci sequence, the first two numbers are what? 1, 1, and the next number is generated by adding the previous two terms. Okay. So that is what we have done. After generating, that is the next term, what you are going to do? Display that term and then make a second number as your first number and a third number as your second number, and this process will be continue up to n terms. Okay. So I hope that you understood all the problems that we have discussed in the today's session. Okay. So practice it with that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.